ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ। ਫਲ ਗੁਣ ਆਨੰਦ ਉਪਾਰ ਜਨਾ, ਹਰ ਸੱਜਣ ਪ੍ਰਗਟੇ ਆਏ। ਸੰਤ ਸਹਾਈ RAM ਕੇ, ਕਰ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਦੀਆ ਮਿਲਾਏ। ਸੇਜ ਸੁਹਾਵੀ ਸਰਬ ਸੁਖ, ਹੁਣ ਦੁੱਖਾ ਨਾਹੀ ਜਾਏ। ਇਚ ਪੁੰਨੀ ਵਡ ਭਾਗਣੀ, वर पाया हर राय। मिल सहिया मंगल गावही, गीत गोविंद अलाय। हर जेहा अवर न दिसई, कोई दूजा लवै न लाय। हलत पलत सवारियोन, निहचल दितियन जाय। संसार सागर ते रखियन, बहुड़ न जन्मै धाय। जिहवा एक अनेक गुण, तरे नानक चरणी पाए। फल गुण नित सलाहिया, जिसनो तिल न तमाए। फल गुण आनंद उपार्जना।
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। गुरु प्यारी गुरु सवारी साध संगत जी, आओ हुण आपां कुछ समय ਲਈ for a small amount of time ਆਪਾਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰੀਏ। We're going to try to collect our thoughts so that we can receive the Phala Updesh, receive the rewards that Guru Maharaj Ji grants us by doing vichar of the Gurbani that God has blessed us with. And in this Baramaha series that we've been doing Katha of, the month that we're doing vichar of today is Phalgun. Phalgun, but here Maharaj acknowledged it as Phalgun. So, ये विचार प्रारंभ करने वास्ते तुसी सारे दोने हाथ जोड़ो and फिर आखो जी सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु। आखो जी
सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु। फल गुण आनंद उपार्जना।
So साध संगत जी, जिस तरह तुहानू समझाया सी, the month that Guru Arjan Dev Ji writes down here, जिथे ਆਪਾਂ ਫੱਗਣ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਇੱਥੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਫਲਗੁਣ ਕਿਹਾ। Phalgun is a compound word, okay? So it's two words that are combined in there. Phal te gun. Gun means virtues, and then phal means the reward, the fruit that you gain by the effort that you put in. So it's very important to know that. You need to have those virtues. You collect virtues as you walk on this path of bhakti. Okay? So what kind of virtues are there? There's sat, there's santokh, there's daya, there's dharam, there's sanjam. There's a lot of guns. As these guns collect because of Guru Sahib Ji's kripa. Now first of all, I'll go over it a little bit. Sat is honesty and living a truthful life. Santokh is contentment, being happy with what God grants you. And then Sat Santokh Daya, Daya is being compassionate, seeing that God's light resides in everybody. And then Dharam, living a righteous life, realizing and Maharaj grants you vichar, discernment, where you can decide on what is truth and what is false, and you acting on the right. That acting on the what's right is called righteousness. And ये हो गया धर्म। Sanjam is self-control, realizing that you have sensory organs that are running rampant all the time, and then you collect them together, take away the energy that you're putting into your sensory organs, and make it savdhan ekagrachit. Bring it all into the one love that you have for God, and bring it inside, collecting that attention, concentrating on Paramatma. So these are guns. And ਇਹ ਗੁਣ, as these guns collect, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਵੀ ਗੁਣ ਵੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ हैं. Devi is a simple translation. Devi means divine. These divine virtues, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਰਾਮਕਲੀ ਕੀ ਵਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਹਾ, ਦੇ ਗੁਣਾ ਸਤ ਭੈਣ ਭਰਾਵ ਹੈ. De guna, de means Devi or divine. Guna means virtues. As these virtues collect inside of you with God's kirpa and the effort that you put forth in doing bhakti, then what happens is God grants you phal. And what kind of phal will arise? Anand. Anand will come. Anand is bliss. Anand is a feeling that is sublime, way above the mundane or just fikka living that we have. A living that has no ras. But when you put God into the picture, then it has ras. Right? So that Anand starts to come inside. Sometimes it comes in little bits, and that little bits, take it as that God is directing you in a right direction. Just like when you say that a child does something good and you give them candy, then you realize the child realizes that I must have done something good. So when those periods of Anand start to come inside of you while you're reading Gurbani, but they don't come back again, don't take it as a sign that you're doing something wrong now. Just take it as a sign that God's showing you're on the right path. You keep going until it becomes permanent. And when it's become permanent, wo andar inj paida ho janda, it arises. That's the shabd of uparjana. Uparjana, Anand, starts to arise like a fountain. Finally, you've hit that point where it starts to come forth. And what else comes forth? Your friend, the one that's been walking along with you. Your sajjan means friend. Har, Paramatma. Paramatma, who is your friend, Pragate, has revealed himself. You didn't know that he was walking with you. You didn't know that he was accompanying you. Gur mere sang sada hai nale. That Paramatma was with me the whole time. But we would forget because appa bebas ho jane hain, that we would lose control towards Maya. Our distraction comes through Maya. Our disturbance comes through Maya. But then when God now finally has appeared, you know your sajjans with you. That just throw you in jail, throw you in fire. You have no fikr because you see God has now revealed. He has come and pragate, meaning that he has revealed himself. In this process, who has been your aid? Has been the saints. A lot of people will pretend to be saints. But if you go by the lachans that or characteristics that Guru Sahib gives us of who saints are, you realize that akha jiva visre mar jao. Ek lachan hega santan da. Santa are the ones that live in God's name. And they have left every sort of hypocrisy that the world adorns. Loki to pakhand kar de, but ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ pakhand ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੇ. ਕਿੰਨੇ ਗੁਣ that you can keep counting them out, but I'm talking about the true saints that God says are a vessel for his kirpa because he sends his saints when he realizes that people are struggling. When somebody is struggling and they do an ardas to Guru Maharaj, sends these kind of saints to help you along the path. And when Paramatma de Sant fir sahayata karde, they aid you, and what do they do? Kar kirpa diya milai. That kirpa that's inside as they are the vessel, it's God's kirpa that's going to act through them. And what are they going to do? They're going to attach you and make you unite with Paramatma. There was Baba Bidhi Chand. Baba Bidhi Chand ne kis tarah he met Baba Adli. And then Baba Adli ji ne ki kita? He took him to Guru Arjan Dev ji. Par eh bhi nishani hai sant di, wo aapde aap naal nahi jodde. wo siddha direct connection Paramatma ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜਦੇ ਆ. There's so many examples. Bhai Paro, Paramahans, like Musliman saw him while he was on a horse floating over a ladi, or you can say a line of Kide, that he was floating on that horse. This horse would take him directly to Goindwal. And he saw this, and that Musliman started doing puja of Bhai Paro. But Bhai Paro says that name, Bhai, I'll take you to the one that I do puja of. And he took him straight to Guru Amar Das Ji. So, ki kirpa kar diya, the kirpa that they bless you with is they go and unite you and make you meet with Guru Sahib. And when you unite with Paramatma, that mind of yours, just imagine it as a bed, sage, Sohavi, that it's become complete now. Sohavi means beautiful. Beautiful, that bed of yours, you've cleaned it out. Just like you want somebody to come into your bedroom, first thing you do is you clean the bedroom out. and they see how beautiful it looks, because it's now becoming and befit for somebody to enter. And now you've cleaned your mind out so that God can come and reside on that mind. Sarva Sukh. Now with Guru Maharaj coming, Sarva Sukh, all sorts of Sukh that you were looking in the world for, they have come to reside within your mind.
ਹੁਣ ਦੁੱਖਾ ਨਾਹੀ ਜਾਏ.
Jai means jaga. There is no place now for pain. Charan Kamal Gurudev ke, when you have God's feet placed into your mind, then Dukha Nikte, He takes out all the pain, and then Sukha Dev. He gives you all sorts of Sukh that you've been looking for, and you realize these are the Param Sukhs. These are the comforts and peace that you were always looking for. And these Svabhaki come with Paramatma. Anand comes with Paramatma. These are things that will automatically come with Paramatma.
ਇਛ ਪੁੰਨੀ ਵਡ ਭਾਗਣੀ.
When you meet Paramatma, and for those Vadpagani, Jeev Roop Istriya, you can say the soul brides that are trying to connect with their husband Lord. O Vadpaganiya, they are very fortunate when Ich Punni. Ich means Icha, desire. Their sole desire is Paramatma. Bhai Gurdas Ji dasde a, Pure Gur Prasad Keval Kankhiya. Kankhiya means desire. Desire only one thing, Gur Prasad. That Paramatma's Kirpa fall upon you, you obtain Paramatma's Kirpa. Oh, be Pure Gurudev. Pure because Paramatma is complete. Pure because our Guru Sahib is the manifestation of the Nirgun Srupa Paramatma. That look for his Kirpa. And that's the sole thing that Bhai Gurdas Ji daste hai, that Kankhiya. Kankhiya means desire for that. So that's the Icha that you should have inside of you. If you have that Icha, and then you strive in Bhakti, with that Bhakti centered only on Paramatma, then Punni, one day it will be completed. And then that person will be known as Vadpagi or Vadpagani.
ਵਰ ਪਾਇਆ ਹਰਿ ਰਾਏ.
Jis tarah, Guru Arjan Dev Ji ne, when he was sent to Lahore on a relative's wedding, that Bhag hua Gur Sant milaya. Ram, Paramatma, apne Sant bhejda. Paramatma kire si Ram? Guru Ramdas Ji. Guru Ramdas Ji ne kinu bhejya? Baba Buddha Ji te Bhai Gurdas Ji. Kite lao on Guru Arjan Dev Ji nu vapas le aao. And when he came, Maharaj recited this shabd that comes in Shabda Hazare. Bhag hua Gur Sant milaya. Prabha Banasi kar mein paya. That it's saints that aid, but it's the kirpa is behind is Guru Sahib. Right? And so, Varpaya Hararai. When those Gur Sikhs, when they see themselves, their Atma as a soul bride to unite with Paramatma, Varpaya, they've now been wed, they've achieved union with Paramatma, Hararai, Hararai meaning the King, the Lord, our King, that we don't look to any worldly chaudhries or worldly presidents or any idols that people make as their inspiration. We look to Paramatma as our King that we strive for.
ਮਿਲ ਸਹੀਆ ਮੰਗਲ ਗਾਵਹੀ.
Mil sahiya mangal gavahi bhav haiga sahiya. Just like when women collect and they sing geet that aj the woman has been wed to her husband, they sing geets in such a manner. Well, the Bhagats do the same thing. The Bhagats collect around Guru Maharaj Ji, and O ki gondeya mangal gave. Mangal means joyous. Joyous hymns, joyous shabds. They pick out those kind of shabds that they will express that they've been now connected with Paramatma. They have become one with Paramatma. They sing such geets out.
ਗੀਤ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਅਲਾਏ.
And Geet Govind Alai Bhav Hega O ki gaunde hai. What geets do they sing? They sing about their Paramatma, the one who is illuminating this whole world. Alai, they utter it. Now there's a small little sakhi that I want to share with you. One is of Bhagat Jayadev. Now, Bhai Gurdas Ji has written about Bhagat Jayadev. मैं ओही तो साखी पंक्ति by पंक्ति सुना देनी है. Prem Bhagat Jayadev kar. Bhagat Jayadev used to do Prema Bhakti. devotional worship of Paramatma. And where kithe rehnde si, bahar hi rehnde hunde si, outside of the city. And a ਛੋਟੀ ਜੀ ਕੁਟੀਆ ਸੀ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਦੀ ਘਰਵਾਲੀ ਨਾਲ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਸੀ, ਐਂਡ ਆਪਣੀ ਭਗਤੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ। ਗੀਤ ਗੋਵਿੰਦ ਸਹਿਜ ਧੁਨ ਗਾਵੇ। ਦੇਖੋ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਭਗਤ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ, ਭਗਤਾਂ ਮੁਖ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਹੈ ਬਾਣੀ। ਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ that ਭਗਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਮੁਖ ਚ ਤਾਂ ਇਹੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ, they want to recite the ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਰੂਪ ਬਾਣੀ। And this Bhagat was no different. Bhagat Jayadev, he used to sahaj ton de vich, spontaneously he used to recite Bani out. Oh jiri granth hai na, oda naam hega Govind Gita. So Bhai Gurdas ji references it. He says Geet Govind sahaj ton gave. Oh aaye gaunda, aaye jas gaunda. He sings the praises of Paramatma. Leela chalat vakhan da. He knew of the story about Krishna Bhagwan. He knew about how the Gopiyan used to be mesmerized by Krishna. And his love now took that as a scenario, but it went beyond that. And he started praising straight to Paramatma, saying, this is your chalat. Chalat meaning that this is a play that you've made. And he would see himself as a gopi. And instead of Krishna, he would see Paramatma. Oh, aaye geet gaunda hunda si Paramatma de. And ਜਿਉਂ-ਜਿਉਂ ਲਿਖਦਾ ਸੀ, ਜਿਉਂ-ਜਿਉਂ ਗਾਉਂਦਾ ਸੀ, ਉਹ ਨਾਲ-ਨਾਲ ਲਿਖੀ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ ਵਖਾਣ ਦਾ। ਸੋ ਅੰਤਰਜਾਮੀ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਪਾਵੇ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਘਟ-ਘਟ ਕੇ ਮਾਲਕ ਆ ਨਾ, ਅੰਤਰਜਾਮੀ, the one that knows everybody's secrets, that sits within everybody, ਉਹ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਨੂੰ ਪਾਉਂਦਾ ਸੀ। Maharaj Ji was very pleased. That's why Bhagat Jayadev's Bani is within Guru Granth Sahib Ji as well. So, akhar ek na avade. When he saw that this Granth was nearly complete, then what happened is a problem happened. The obstacles that come inside of our lives are because of our own egos, right? So what happened is a little bit of ego or homage started coming inside of him. This Granth is so beautiful. I'm almost complete. When that I Shabd comes, now you have to recognize the I Shabd is that I have to go right now. That probably doesn't have ego. But when you said I did this, that I has ego behind it. And when that I came out of Bhagat Jayadev's Mukharbin, then what happened is that it became a big one. He couldn't figure out the next ending of this Granth. And he's stuck. And as he's stuck, then what did he do? He took the Pustak Ban. He closed the Pustak and he said that, well, it's Rara's time now. That it's the time when I should be remembering Paramatma. Sandhya vele kande. When the sun is going down, that Sandhya kar aave. Wo bahar jaake Sandhya karan chale gaya. And his wife at home at that time started preparing a meal for him. After he finishes his part, he's going to come home and have his meal. Gun nidan kar aaye ke. Then what happened is Bhagat Jayadev returned, but it wasn't really Bhagat Jayadev at that time. That Gun Nidan, it was the one who is the treasure trove of all virtues. It was Paramatma himself. He took up the form of Bhagat Jayadev and he came to his house. And he came to his house while he's actually out doing his part. God has taken up the same form as Bhagat Jayadev and he's arrived in his house and his wife's wondering that you've already done your part. And what she used to do is that ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦ ਪਕਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਛਕਾਉਂਦੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ, then she would eat herself. So she's like, okay, I have the food ready. And he said that I'll come back. Just give me one moment. He went into his kamra. He opened up the Granth that Bhagat Jayadev had been writing and he finished it for him. And then after Prashada Vishakalya, and then when he left, the real Bhagat Jayadev returned. As Bhagat Jayadev returned, Bhagat Roop Likh Lekh Banave. Then Paramatma ne, he finished the Granth for him. Akhar Pad Prateet Kar. Then Bhagat Jayadev, when he returned, he saw his wife eating and he said that today you started a new tradition. Tusi aap pehla shak rahe hain. You usually wait for me to eat and then you eat. She said that you just ate and that's why I'm eating. And he said something's up. And he looked at the Granth. He opened it up and Akhar Pad. He read the last lines. Now he saw it was complete. And Prateet Kar. ਉਹਦੇ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪ੍ਰਤੀਤੀ ਆ ਗਈ that Paramatma ਆਇਆ ਮੇਰੇ ਘਰੇ. That God came and finished this for me. And then hoye vismar. Then when you know God has done something for you, He does it for all of us. But when you see these kind of happenings happen, and your eyes, that it's a surreal kind of moment. And then he went into Vismath. He got wonderstruck at that time. Na anga samave. He felt like leaping out of his body. He felt like leaping out. He kind of went into this intoxicated state. And he's like, just walks out of his house. And while his wife is calling him, that where are you going now? Vekhe jai ujad vich. As he's going out into the forest, what does he see? Birk ek. He saw this one tree glowing, that acharya sohave, that looks extremely beautiful. Then he got himself together, he collected himself, and he went up to the tree. As he looked at the tree, what happened? He looked at the patte on the trees. There are a lot of patte, there are a lot of leaves on that tree. As he saw one of the leaves, he took it in his hand and he saw Geet Govind Sampurno. The Granth that he had been writing is written on the leaf. And then he looked at all the leaves and it's written on all of the leaves. Sara jira Granth likh raha si pat pat, every patte de upar likhya ant na pave, and koi ant penda hi nahi si. Hun leaves hi soch lo kinne a. So Bhagat het pargas kar, that e bhagtan de prem karke, ਭਗਤੀ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਕਰਕੇ ਮਾਇਆ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਸ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ this ਦਰਖਤ, and ਪ੍ਰਕਾਸ਼ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਸਰੂਪ ਧਾਰਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਘਰੇ ਆਇਆ ਸੀ. ਹੋਏ ਦਿਆਲ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਗੱਲ ਲਾਵੇ. And then he went and saw Paramatma standing there after he went past the tree, and then Paramatma ਨੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਗਲੇ ਮਿਲਾ ਲਿਆ. And then ਸੰਤ ਅਨੰਤ ਨਾ ਭੇਦ ਗਣਾਵੇ. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੰਤ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ and ਅਨੰਤ Paramatma, the limitless Paramatma, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਭੇਦ ਨਾ ਸਮਝਿਆ ਕਰੋ, that don't hold a ਭੇਦ. The ones that are true saints, they have become one with Paramatma. So ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਭਗਤ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਗਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ. And ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਗੀਤ ਗੋਵਿੰਦ ਅਲਾਏ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਉਹਨੇ ਗੋਵਿੰਦ ਗੀਤਾ ਅਲਾਇਆ ਸੀ, ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ we have Guru Granth Sahib Ji's Bani that's written from Turong. This Bani has come from beyond, and this Bani is for Bhagats. A Bhagat Pandara. A Bhakti da Pandara for those Bhagats to now sing out that Bani and collect together. That Paramatma, aside from Paramatma, or koi desda nahi Paramatma varga, there's only Paramatma. So, jaisa tu ਹੈਗਾ ਮਾਇਆ ਜੀ ਉਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ. There's nobody that's comparable.
ਕੋਈ ਦੂਜਾ ਲਵੈ ਨਾ ਲਾਏ. You
cannot take a second another person and make them compare to Paramatma. That Paramatma is Paramatma. There is no second. That's why we say ek oankar, that there is only Paramatma.
Halat palat savaryon.
He is the one that when you worship him, halat, this life here, and palat, in the parlok, in the afterlife, savaryon, he's going to correct it for you. He's going to clean out those karmas for you. Meaning that you're going to connect with Paramatma in such a way that you will go to his desh. Nehchal meaning the place, nehchal, the place that will never go away, that is permanent. Everything else isn't permanent, but such khand is permanent. So Nehchal Dityan, that God grants you a spot in such khand, a jagah de dinde jaye.
Sansar sagar te rakhiyan.
While you're in this world, that sansar, sansyadakar, the place of all worries. This is the place of all worries. This is that world, and has been compared to as a world ocean. That world ocean, when you take God's feet, and then after, when you have received a place in such kind, then after what will happen, you will not have to go through this life cycle of birth after birth after birth. This is one birth for us. We do not want to go through this over and over again. So we call out to Paramatma that sanu is sansar sagar te sadi raksha karo sache Paatshah.
Jehva ek anek gun.
So pichli pankti vich thai means dhakke nahi khane pende. Jaake 84 ਲੱਖ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ in the 8.4 million life cycle ਧੱਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਖਾਣੇ ਪੈਂਦੇ.
ਜਿਹਵਾ ਏਕ ਅਨੇਕ ਗੁਣ.
Yes, you might have one tongue, but God has limitless virtues. So why is that tongue sitting stagnant? Why isn't it saying Vaheguru right now while it's listening to this vichar? Why is it stagnant? When you see that virtues are pouring out of Guru Maharaj's vichar, then why isn't it reciting God's name? Jadon Maharaj has anek gun, then you should be singing out those anek gun. At least take one and sing it out.
Tare Nanak Charani Pai.
This will be Maharaj's charan, Chit Charan Naam. When you take God's name and you hold on to Maharaj's name and you sing it out in God's praise, then what happens is Tare. Tare, you'll be saved. You'll be delivered across this world ocean. Guru Maharaj says, Charani Pai, when you hold on to Guru Maharaj's charan, which is God's name.
Phalgun nit salahiya.
And then again, Phalgun, I told you, is a compound word, means gun. Gun means virtues. And then what other gun is there that I can reinforce here is the gun of remembrance. Consistent remembrance. That bringing Paramatma and remembering him, that's called Simran. And jadon tusi jaap karde, that's reciting. You have to do both of them together. You have to remember Paramatma and you have to recite Paramatma's name. And then as you practice this gun, then what will happen? The phal, the reward will happen is to see apna aap pehchan loge. You'll realize who you are. Baba Gurbachan Singh has said, is meene da mahatam in Sri Gurmukh Prakash. And he translates this and he says, Phalgun phal yehi hai Puran. This is the actual phal of Phalgun, is apna aap pehchane te. That you'll realize this month's Mahatam if you realize who you are. And fir eh kamai karonge. That's the gun that you practice by remembering Paramatma. And then what happens is Maharaj will give you the phal of knowing who you are. And you are that Atma, that droplet from Paramatma. Hanji, nit salahi hai. Then what this is done by the practice about doing nit every day, remembering and praising Paramatma.
Jisno til na tamai.
And Paramatma doesn't have any kahish or any desire that you praise him. Some people say that Dekho Paramatma created a system where he's getting praised. Maharaj doesn't have that tamanna. Til na tamai. Til matar vini. Like not even a sesame seed. Even Japji Sahib de vich kene vadda data til na tamai. That inne vadde data aega oda ni kuch katda. By us praising Paramatma, sanu hi milna. That Paramatma is Puran. Jami jaman ke bikhe. Samast jot ek hai. Na kaat hai, na baad hai. Na kaat baad hot hai. The Paramatma he's not going to increase, nor is he ever going to decrease. That he's complete. So when you sing out the complete, tuannu faida milna. God's going to be pleased with you and bring you closer because you're doing kamai. But it's not going to increase in Maharaj's stature because he's complete. The Paramatma is perfect. That's why we call him Puran. Oda til matar ni khayashagi that you salam, so he's going to become greater. But you look at the worldly people, they need their likes. They need their attention. They need those, such as those actors that are out there. When somebody stops looking at them, andro, they become depressed and they feel that they're missing something. Onna da katda, right? Onna da hani hundi hai. Na han hai, na ban hai. Paramatma doesn't have any hani. He doesn't grow deficient of anything. Right? Na ban hai. He doesn't have this adat either. Right? Paramatma doesn't have this adat like the world has of liking him. So, and then saman rupa janiye. Then know that Paramatma saman. He's going to stay the same. Nit nava naroa. He's always new. He'll never grow old. He's the same as he was when he was saving Bhagat Prahaladji. And oh, happy such, he's true now. And happy tir such, he's true inside of you right now. That's how close he is. He's closer to you than your own jugular vein. Anji.
Jin jin naam te aaya.
And those people, those Bhagats, every one of those, Jin, Naam te aaya, that meditate on God's name,
Tinke kaaj sare.
their tasks have become Paramatma's tasks to complete. Marji took care of their tasks. Whether it's Baba Karam Singh ho Timurdanwal, while he was doing bhakti and he forgot to go join his regiment, Paramatma came in his route. When Bhai Parminder Singh one time was doing his bhakti and forgot to go to his job, God went and did his job. Bhagat Tanna would be meditating on God's name. God would be farming for him on the fields. God unna de kaaj savalda. That he comes and takes care of everything. But it's a matter of giving up your support to Paramatma.
Har gur pura aradhya.
And those people that have remembered Har Paramatma, who has come in the form of our Puran Guru, the complete and perfect Guru, that those people that remember Guru Sahib,
Dargah sach khare.
you'll see them after, if you go to Sachkhand, just like Mata Pagpari. Mata Pagpari got to meet Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji. And then she left her body. And the person who united and put that flame of God's love inside of her was Bhai Madhoji. Bhai Madhoji, when she goes to Sachkhand, she sees Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and who's standing next to Guru Nanak Dev Ji? It's Bhai Madhoji. That Dargah hai. Dargah means in Sachkhand, Sach Paramatma de naal khare. Khare meaning standing next to him. And khare also means that the ones that are pure. The pure will be standing there beside Paramatma.
Sarb sukha nid charan har.
In God's charan, in God's simran, all sukhs reside. They're like a treasure trove.
Pau jal bikham tare.
Pau jal, meaning that this jal, this ocean, is pau, is full of fears once you succumb to it. But bikham, it's difficult to cross, but not with Guruji's kripa. If God grants you his kripa, tare, you'll be delivered across it.
Prem bhagat tin paiya.
And the way and the method is prema bhakti. Not just bhakti, there's rajo bhakti, sato bhakti, tamo bhakti. Tamo bhakti is doing bhakti and cursing somebody. AGV log hai gaya that they're doing bhakti so they can get back at somebody. No, prema bhakti hi hai that raj na chahun, mukt na chahun, manpreet charan kamalare. That I want to be united with Paramatma. That's all I care for is his love.
Bikhya nahi jare.
So prem bhagat tin paiya. Those people, those gurmukhs, those saints have received Paramatma. They've obtained Paramatma's darshan through prema bhakti.
Bikhya nahi jare.
And jo bikhya. Bikhya means sensual temptations. The things that tempt you with your eyes, ears, nose, touch, vagara, all your sensual temptations. Nahi jare. They will not entrap you. They will not ensnare you. They will not hold you down.
Kood gaye dubda nasib.
And just a person starts to build a well. First, utte kooda hunda. First, you have to remove that kood. Kood is falsehood, dishonesty, deceit. You remove all of that. Dubda nasi. You'll realize that your doubt starts to be removed, or your delusion of Maya starts to go away. As you're removing that dirt, then what happens?
Puran sach pare.
Just like that water starts to gush out of the ground as you're building your well, and you removed all the dirt away, then Puran sach pare, so will it be inside of you. That pare, Paramatma laba lab par jange tuade vich, Puran. That Puran Paramatma, the complete Paramatma will fill completely inside of you his light.
Par Brahm Prabh Sevade.
Those people that remember Par Brahm, the absolute Paramatma who's omnipresent, that Prabhu Paramatma, when they remember him, when they take the thread of remembrance and weave it through their mind,
Man andar ek tare.
then within their mind they place the love of that one Lord.
Mahadevas Murat Pale.
For those people, Mahadevas, Maha these mean, Divas these days. Murit pale, Murit hunda do kadiyan, meaning time. Do kadiyan ho gaya, one kadi is 24 minutes, two kadiyan are 48 minutes. So Murit represents time here. Pale have become good for them.
ਜਿਸ ਕੋ ਨਦਰ ਕਰੇ
ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਦੀ ਨਦਰ ਮਿਲ ਗਈ. Nanak nadri nadar nihal. When the Paramatma gives that graceful glance, blesses us with his glance, that time, that day, that month becomes auspicious, becomes special, because you have received a blessing from Paramatma.
ਨਾਨਕ ਮੰਗੈ ਦਰਸ ਦਾਨ.
Now, Marji ਦੱਸਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾਨਕ ਪਦ ਵਰਤ ਕੇ ਮੰਗੇ ਦਰਸਦਾਨ. The ਨਿਚੋੜ of Barama is that ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਾਰਜੀ ਦੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਮੰਗੋ, and ਮਾਰਜੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰੇ that ਇਹ ਦਾਨ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ ਦੇਵੇ.
ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰੋ ਹਰੇ.
ਤਾਂ ਹਰੀ ਪ੍ਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰੋ, ਦਇਆ ਕਰੋ. ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਿਛੜੇ ਹੋਏ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਕਰਮਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਕਰਮ ਬਣਾਓ ਸਾਡਾ ਕਿਰਪਾ. That make that kirpa, which is a translation for karma as well too, that ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰੋ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਬਖਸ਼ੋ. That once we see your darshan, that's all we're going to strive for. ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਕੇ unite us with yourself. ਇਹ ਦਾਨ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੇਵੋ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ. Forgive me if I made any mistakes while talking. ਆਓ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੰਕਤੀਆਂ ਦੁਬਾਰੇ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਫਤਿਹ ਦੀ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਈਏ.
ਮਹਾਦੇਵ
ਮੂਰਤ ਭਲੇ
ਜਿਸ ਕੋ ਨਦਰ
ਕਰੇ, ਨਾਨਕ ਮੰਗੈ ਦਰਸ ਦਾਨ.